Hey everyone, Steven here, and welcome to my little library of horrors. Well, as much as I love the horror genre and everything it has to offer, sometimes I like to take a break from it and kind of give my soul a bit of a rest from the weary and dreary. Um, so, I decided to pick up this book at a thrift store one day simply because the title caught my attention right away. And then I picked it up and looked at the cover, and that made me want it even more. And then I read the blurb on the back, and that's pretty much what sold me on it. Um, it had sat in my library for probably a year now, and for some reason, every time I came in here, I would just pick it up and look at it. It was something about it that just kind of called out to me to want to read it. So, after finishing my last book, I decided it was definitely time for a break. So, I went and picked up this book, and honestly, I'm pretty surprised. I know it's pretty early on in the year, but I really doubt there's going to be another book that surprises me the way this one did. Um, you know, the plot sounds insane, and it was, but really the message behind it and like the overall story in it is really deep, very philosophical, and I really wasn't expecting to build the bond with the characters that I did, and just kind of have this emotional like bomb drop at the like near the end of the book that was just like wow. Um, but yeah, so the book, it contains a magical hot dog stand, a baboon, a clairvoyant gypsy that runs a flea circus, a former artist that dresses like Tarzan, and in he's an old athlete, not an old athlete, he's an ex-athlete turned criminal, and a scientist. Oh, and baby Thor, as a matter of fact. So yeah, you wouldn't think any of that would make much sense, but it all makes sense when you go and visit another roadside attraction by Tom Robbins. So yeah, again, the premise sounds pretty insane, but wow, what a book. What a book, honestly. So the overall story is um, this group of people start a roadside attraction. Uh, it's like they start off as a restaurant that serves strictly hot dogs and juice, which has a flea circus, and they start to expand on it more and more as they gain more unique characters to the cast, essentially. And what happens is one of the characters, Plucky Parcell, accidentally gets involved with this secret group of assassins uh, based in the Christian religion. So it's like the secret group of Christian assassins that are run by the Vatican that very few know exist. And Plucky finds himself accidentally intertwining with that group. And during his adventures, he ends up finding the body of Jesus Christ. And this just ends up opening this whole can of worms, essentially. And but the overlying question throughout the book is, what's the meaning of meaning? And like I've said, with something with such a ridiculous plot and like just outlandish characters, you wouldn't think it'd be so heavy on the topic of each character trying to find the meaning of their life. And it's just kind of crazy, because you'd think, how do I explain it? I guess I'll start with the characters. Every character is just absolutely fantastic, so complex, each representing a different ideology, essentially. So there's Plucky Parcell, who is a criminal, who is an atheist and an anarchist, very much against authority and everything like that. So I feel like he represents atheism. There is Amanda, who's the flea priestess and a clairvoyant. She's very much in tuned with nature, like she's all about mushrooms and things like that. So I feel like she represents the pagan religion. I'm not 100% like brushed up on my religion and what they represent, so I apologize to anyone if I offend or misrepresent what your belief is. And, I don't like talking about religion at all, so this is just strictly based for the review. But I believe, like I said, I believe she's pagan. And then there is Ziller, who is Amanda's husband, the Tarzan character. He believes everyone originates in energy, essentially. The sun is God, essentially, to him. We're all just a bunch of moving light to him. And then, of course, there's Marx Marvelous, the scientist, who... His character, to me, is the most interesting and probably one of the most complex, simply because he's a scientist. You'd think he's all based in facts and things like that. But as the plot goes on, he starts to struggle with that. You start to learn, how he got into science, why he believes the way he believes. And so, and then there's Monkol the baboon. He doesn't really represent... I don't feel like he represents anything, honestly. I could be wrong. And then Baby Thor is just kind of there for most of the part. Like, they're not really so much involved in what the sort of climax of the story involves. So yeah, all the characters are great. All of them are wonderful. I love the plot. So the plot event, essentially, again, with that is, as Plucky finds the body of Jesus, an earthquake hits the Vatican. So he ends up absconding with the body of Jesus and brings it back to the roadside stand. And so they all essentially sit and, I guess, discuss and debate what they want to do with it. So Plucky, in his mind, he wants to show the world. He wants to tell everybody about it. He wants, he's very much against the Christian religion, believes it's an organized crime, does more harm than good kind of thing. And he wants this to basically be a reset for Western civilization. He wants people to break free of the bonds that, the ancient Christian rules have held over America for so long. And he sees this as the next step in evolution for humanity, is to drop this so-called facade of God and Jesus and all of that, because this proves Jesus never resurrected, and essentially never moved from the cave at all, and was merely human. So then in comes Marx Marvelous, the scientist, who is against that idea. He wants to take it to basically the president and the Pope, and he kind of wants to work out a deal where they know and try to, I guess, leave it in their hands, essentially, because with his argument is, if you're to just show this, it's going to cause complete chaos. Like, it will be anarchy in the streets, mass suicide, riots, just an insane, collapse of civilization. It won't be an evolution, it'll be a collapse, because, Christianity is the most practiced religion in the world. And, a lot of people have that as sort of their compass in life. They base their moral person off of their religious beliefs. And Marx believes, everything is going to have corruption. Because it involves humans. There's no avoiding corruption when it comes to humans, basically. Like, there's going to be a greedy person in the bunch that finds a way to profit off of something that wasn't meant to be profited off of. And, his moral argument is, who are we to tell these people, hey, look, you believe a bunch of lies? What does that ultimately solve? Like, are we really the good guys in the end of that? And it's just like, it makes me sit back, because they have a very long back and forth near, 3/4 through the way book. And this is like I said, they go back and forth, by retort for retort. Both have very, very strong arguments for wanting to do what they want to do. And it's like, it's just amazing, It's just so amazing. Like things, in debates I've had over religion, things I didn't think about, and it's just insane. It's just insane. And like, so meanwhile, Ziller and Amanda are both in on this conversation as well. So Ziller does, neither one of them say much, but after all is said and done with that, after Plucky and Marks have had their arguments and whatever and da-da-da, I really love Amanda's answer at the end of it all. Like, what does she say? I have to find the passage. Just a second. Because she says it so much better than I ever could. I wonder where it is. I wish I had marked it. Let's see. Oh, I believe it was in part 5 here. Let's see here. So, okay, here it is. It says, maybe, but it seems to me that the real cop-out is to say that the universe has meaning, but that we mere mortals are incapable of ever knowing that meaning. Mystery is part of nature's style, that's all. It's the infinite goof. It's meaning that is of no meaning. That paradox is the key to the meaning of meaning. To look for meaning, or the lack of it, in things is a game played by beings of limited consciousness. Behind everything in life is a process that is beyond meaning, not beyond understanding, mind you, but beyond meaning. And then, nothing to lose, Marx, and nothing to gain. Nothing to lose and nothing to gain. A man can be as free and as happy as he wants to be because there's nothing to lose and nothing to gain. So, and she says in another passage, just because life doesn't have meaning doesn't mean it has no value. And that was just like kind of one of those like lines that just really hit me in the face. Was like, whoa, like, that's so true. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's crazy. Because I feel like we all look for our purpose in life and our meaning, and it just might not have a meaning, but that doesn't mean it doesn't have any value. So yeah, so it's just crazy. Like I said, the book is just mind-blowing as far as the message and the content and everything. Yeah. That's not to say it doesn't have its flaws. The book was published in, 1970. So it does unfortunately have some pretty blatant racism in it. It's not like saturated in it, but enough to where it's kind of like, it's sprinkled throughout here and there, but it's kind of a product of its time kind of thing, but it's definitely cringy at times. But I think what hurts it a little more is the author's blatant over-sexualization of Amanda at times. Like, sometimes it's gross. Like, I'm not saying a woman can't be sexual in her nature and everything like that, but, like, there's one scene where Marx is talking to her and she has a pubic hair hanging out from her underwear at one point, and he's just so heavily focused on that he's not paying attention to her. And it's supposed to be funny, but it's just kind of gross to me. That's not my kind of humor. Um, so you know what I mean. I feel like it just kind of hurts the book a little bit, in my opinion, just because it's like Amanda's such a fantastic character. To kind of just put her in the spotlight of being a sexualized thing for the men in the book, just not for me. I hate that stuff. Like she's such an awesome character, very like driven character wise. Morally, she's strong. So it's like some of her actions and the way she's portrayed just really conflicts with the personality of her character, and I don't like it. Um, the pacing can definitely be a little off at times. You know, Sometimes you're just kind of waiting for something to happen as, the narrator's explaining what's going on, or there's like some kind of backdrop on so like or like a day in the life of working at the attraction and things like that, which isn't bad, but when it's like Plucky finds the body of Jesus, here's a day in the life of working at the attraction, it's just kind of like that could have been before that. So it definitely kind of stumbles a little bit as far as pacing, but overall, I genuinely really love this book. Like, I'm so surprised at it. It made me think. The ending, like, I had tears in my eyes. I didn't cry, but definitely got emotional at the end. Like, I wasn't expecting a book hangover after this, and it hit me hard. It hit me hard. I finished this probably like 3 or 4 days ago, and I'm just kind of now settling down after the ending and everything. So, yeah. Overall, I'm gonna give another Roadside Attraction by Tom Robbins a very solid 4 out of 5. It was funny. It's deep. It's thoughtful, and it's just probably one of the most unique books I've ever read. And I really think you should check it out if you want to give yourself something to think about, something to even be a palate cleanser, and just, maybe you'll find something inside that I didn't. But, yeah, that's going to be it for me today, guys. I appreciate you so much for watching. Feel free to subscribe, like, drop a comment down below. Let me know what the most unique book you've ever read is and what kind of message it taught you in there. But thanks again, everyone. Hope to see you soon, and be safe. Bye.